Okay, today we are going to be working on summarizing. Our standard for summarizing is 4-2-R-3. Students will summarize and sequence the most important events in a story. And our learning objective is the students will be able to summarize text using SWBST. Okay, before we get started in our summarizing activity, we are going to watch just like a 3-minute video from a fellow teacher explaining how to summarize a story. This is the video. Summarizing somebody wanted, but, so, and then, which is the SWBST theory that we will be using today. Okay, now that we have watched the video, we are going to just go over more in depth of what the SWBST technique is for summarizing. So our first one is an S, which stands for somebody. So when we look at that, we're thinking, who is the main character? And then the next letter, W, is wanted. What did that main character want? And then B, which is but, and then what was the problem? Like most of the time it's why couldn't the character have what they wanted? Next is S, so how did the character resolve that problem? And then our last letter is T, which is then. What was the resolution of the whole story? So I'm going to pass out the SWBST papers just so you guys can have your own copies for later when we're doing it individually. This is what they will look like. For our early finishers, you guys can color on that and take notes, and we'll keep those in our bags or our red folders for to come back to in the future. So the story that we're going to be reading today is The Rainbow Fish. This is our story. It is pretty below grade level, but I thought this would be a good story just for getting started with summarizing. Okay, now that we have read our story, let's look at our SWBST papers, and we're going to go through on, everybody pull out a blank piece of paper, and we're going to use that, and we're going to go through and answer those as a class. So our first S, remember, is for somebody who is the main character. Can somebody raise their hand and tell me who the main character is? Right, the main character is the rainbow fish. Good. Okay, now our next letter, W, wanted. What did that character want? Now, who can tell me what that main character wanted? Good. To be admired for his beauty. Okay, next letter, but. What was the problem in the story? Can somebody raise their hand and tell me what the problem was? Good. He's lonely because he will not share his scales with anybody. Okay, next. So, how did the character resolve the problem? You can tell me how he resolved it. Good. He started sharing his scales. Okay, our last one. Then, what was the resolution of the story as a whole? Can somebody raise their hand and tell me what the resolution of the story was as a whole? Good. He finds happiness through sharing. Good. So everybody get those wrote down, and we are now going to create just a little short summary over the story. Who can give me a good first sentence for our story? Remember to let's use the question for each letter for inside of our sentence. Okay, good. The main character is the rainbow fish. Okay, you can give me my next sentence. Good. The character wanted to be admired for his beauty through his scales would be a good addition to that sentence. Okay, next sentence. The problem was he was lonely because he would not share with anybody else. Good. Okay, 2 more sentences. So give me the next one. Okay, good. The character resolved the problem by sharing his skills with his friends. Good. Last sentence. The resolution of the story is that he finds happiness through sharing his skills. Good. So that's just kind of the idea of how to use Swibest, and you guys are going to either get in groups of 3 or you can just do a partner, and you guys are going to pick out a book from the classroom library and do like a shorter storybook, so this won't take too long. And you guys are going to use those Swibest papers that you have, and you can use that piece of paper that you were using for this, just draw a line to separate. And I want you to answer each letter individually after you read, and then go back through and create a summary. And then you guys will share them, one person from each group will share them with the class, and we will discuss to make sure you have each letter on your summary.